How's it going, everybody? My name is Lucky Buns, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Season 13 of Pokémon GO Battle League. Now, with that being said, as always, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, if you do find it helpful, please make sure to smash that like button down below. It would help me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. But with that being said, let's go in and get started. So before we dive into anything right now, for those of you who are going into the new season, which is going to start relatively soon, make sure to drop a star piece when you're collecting your end of season rewards if you made it to rank 20. This is one of the best times to use the star piece, and after that you can just run a few more battles in the new season or just go out and hunt Pokemon for like the next half hour to maximize that start piece. Now we can dive into the new upcoming season. So first of all, this is going to take place from December 1st, 2022 to March 1st, 2023. So taking a look at the rank up system, everything is more or less the same, so we're just going to jump straight into the schedule. Actually, I take that back. One thing I want to go over before we talk about the schedule is the removal of classic cups. So let me read this off here. Trainers, as Candy Extra Large, I'm just going to say Extra Large Candy, I don't know why they say it that way. Extra Large Candy has continued to become more accessible thanks to it becoming more available at level 31 rather than level 40, and Rare Candy Extra Large Rare Candy, I hate the format that they use for this, Extra Large Rare Candy being a potential reward for completing in-person raids. We will be retiring the Classic Cup format after this season. We will be running Premier Cups more frequently in future seasons instead. So Premier Cups basically means no legendary Pokemon, but a Classic Cup means no level 50 Pokemon, and level 40 is the cap. Granted, we have had level 50 Pokemon in the game for quite some time now, so I can't understand why they're doing this, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily agree with it. Granted, we are going to get Premier Cup, so it does eliminate, the whole legendary problem, being that it takes a lot of resources to get 296 Extra Large Candy on that. So let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section down below. Once again, this is going to be for the future season, so Season 13 is still going to have the Classic Cup format, at least every now and then. But with that being said, let's take a look at the schedule overall. So I'm going to assume that we're just going to have like 2 weeks of Great League, 2 weeks of Ultra League, so I'm just going to focus on the type-specific cups, and we're going to go over the timeline for that. So basically, first half of December, we're going to have Great League along with the Great League Remix Cup plus the Fighting Cup Great League Edition. Pretty sure it was always Great League Edition, but I could be wrong about that. And then the second half of December, we're going to have Ultra League along with the Ultra League Premier Classic and the Holiday Cup. Once again, Great League Edition. In the past, this hasn't been the greatest cup in my opinion, but I suppose that depends on who you ask. Moving on over to the beginning of January, we are going to have Master League in rotation along with 3 times Stardust from the Win Rewards. We are going to have the Holiday Cup Ultra League Edition during the end of December into the early parts of January, and then following that, we're going to have the Master League Premier Classic Cup. So the last time, most likely, that you're going to be able to use your level 40 Master League Pokemon, which honestly, guys, like, it kind of sucks, but I'm just getting used to the Master League. I just recently powered up actually I maxed out a 100% IV Dragonite and 100% IV Garchomp, because the end of this season, I had to pretty much use level 50 Pokemon, so it is what it is, but yeah, we just all got to get used to it, I guess. Alright, now for the next week of January, this is going to be the middle of January, we're going to have all of the open leagues available, and I kind of like this. I feel like they should have this in terms of the middle point of the season and then at the same time at the end of the season, although we'll see if they actually did do this for the end of the season. So basically, if we take a look at this though, we are going to have 3 weeks straight of Great League, which is kind of nice. And then we're going to have the Weather Cup Great League Edition, followed by the Electric Cup Great League Edition. So again, type-specific cups every single week, but we do have the main formats going alongside them. And then to wrap things off, we're going to have Ultra League for the first 2 weeks of February, along with Ultra Premier Cup. Now to point out the difference here, Ultra Premier Cup means no legendary Pokemon, but it does mean level 50 Pokemon. And to be honest, in Ultra League, there are so many non-legendary Pokemon that are meta-relevant, I don't even feel like this really makes that much of a difference. So in my opinion, Ultra Premier Cup isn't really the greatest. Ultra Premier Classic though, that's what you really want. Then following that, we're going to have Love Cup, of course, during Valentine's Day. And then for the last 2 weeks, we are going to have Master League available. Actually, we have Master League Mega Edition apparently during the final week, going into the 1st of March. That is interesting. Okay, weird that they added that. Also, I don't really like that they kind of make the end of the season, typically when people are pushing for Legend, one of the most difficult leagues, or in terms of accessibility, like the most inaccessible league possible. So yeah, don't really like that. Didn't like it this past season. Really unhappy that they're doing it again for this Season 13. So that is unfortunate. They do have Hoenn Cup though, Great League Edition, so I guess that's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's a Great League format, right? So it's a lot more accessible to people. But, your other option being Master League and Master League Mega Edition, yeah. don't really love that too much. But at least you do get 3 times Stardust, so if you don't care that much about Legend, then more power to you. But yeah, overall that is going to be the league rotation. I'm happy with the format in terms of having like 2 weeks Great League, 2 weeks Ultra League, like that's fine. My biggest complaint is really just not having all of the open leagues available during that final rotation, like that final push for Legend, because if you really want the pose, then I mean, you really gotta grind it out, and I'm almost gonna guarantee that most players are not going to have the Pokemon built for Master League. If I did a poll right now, I could guarantee that probably over 50% of you mostly playing Great League, and maybe I should do a poll. I'll run that later on though. So next up, let's talk about the Go Battle days. So just to go over what these are. So during a normal day of Go Battle League, you get 5 sets a day, but during Go Battle Day, you actually get 20 sets a day for a total of 100 battles. Not to mention, you also get 4 times Stardust from the win rewards. So that first win reward is going to give you a lot of Stardust. Honestly guys, if you made it to rank 20 at this point, this is ideally when you want to kind of tank and just take advantage of getting at least 1 win every set, and really just dropping a star piece and taking advantage of those Stardust gains. I did this the past season and the previous season before that, and I got a ton of Stardust, so really do recommend taking advantage of that if you don't really care for pushing for Legend. Also, it's pretty early on in the season when we have our first Go Battle Day, which is going to take place on January 14th, so yeah, we still have like, what, half the season left? So at that point you could tank all the way down and then just make your way all the way back up, potentially even to Legend. So usually during this first Go Battle Day, I'd like to recommend actually just tanking, like getting 1 win and then just tanking the rest of your battles. That way you can go through them incredibly fast, get the Stardust from the first win reward, and then get the Stardust from the end of set reward. Again, ideally being at rank 20 because it scales based on which rank you are in terms of how much Stardust you get. So rank 20 is the most you can get. And hopefully by this point you guys should have had enough time to make it there. It's completely win-based, so it really shouldn't be too difficult to do it in a few weeks. Anyway, so let's go over the specific details for this first Go Battle Day. So this is going to be called Mythical Wishes, pretty much relevant to the season of Mythical Wishes going on right now. The only thing I'm going to highlight here is that if you do the timed research, which is like complete 10 battles or 20 battles or something like that, you get a free Elite Charge TM, which is extremely awesome. So at the very least, even if you don't want to run all 100 battles throughout the day or tank or do whatever it is you want to get the Stardust, do those 20 battles or 10 battles or whatever it is, and then you're also going to be able to get the first part of Steven Stone's outfit, which is also unlocked at Ace rank at 2000 ELO. Now the active leagues are going to be Great League, Ultra League, and Master League, so you pretty much can do whatever you want. I feel like most people are probably just going to play Great League though, as it's the most accessible league available, and Master League Open is quite extensive in terms of resources. But let's move on over to our next Go Battle Day. So it's going to be Vulpix, very similar to how we had last season as Meltank. We're just having like 1 overall Go Battle Day and then a specifically focused Go Battle Day on a Pokemon. Now I do want to point something out. If you do want to focus on these Stardust gains, I would recommend not going for Vulpix encounters unless you really want these shiny Vulpix, and that's a completely different story, as they are going to be shiny boosted during the respective time window from 11 AM to 2 PM. Now if you just want the Stardust though and you don't really care much for Vulpix because you already have a shiny, then I would just do your battles leading up to 11 AM, take a break, and then continue your battles after 2 PM. Once again, you can use the same strat that I talked about during the previous Go Battle Day where you just win 1 time, you get that Stardust, and then you just tank the rest of the battles. That way you can get as many in during that star piece. This way you can really maximize that star piece, and I seriously got so much Stardust doing this. But putting that aside though, there is actually another thing I want to go over in regards to Vulpix, and that's the fact that Ninetales is going to get the exclusive Fast Attack Ember, which I don't know how good this is going to make Ninetales. Like Ninetales is already pretty good, especially Shadow Ninetales, so this I would imagine is going to be an upgrade to it. The active leagues are going to be Ultra League and Love Cup Great League Edition, so Ultra League is kind of slow. I'm hoping Love Cup is going to be a little bit faster. You probably have Charm users in there, but Charm did get nerfed, and we're going to talk about that later on. But again, main thing here, guys, timed research, Elite Charge TM. Take advantage of that. Please get yourself a free Elite Charge TM. That thing is worth so much. Anyways, that should pretty much cover that. Now let's go over the guaranteed rank up encounters, and then we'll talk about all the other encounters. So at rank 1, you get a Metang that is guaranteed as long as you make it to at least 3 wins, I believe. You also have Marini here, so I'm not really sure, like, do you get both or do you just get one of them? That's actually kind of new. Usually it's only one. Once you make it to Ace rank, your next encounter is going to be Axew, Veteran's going to be Noibat, Gumi's going to be for Expert, and then finally for Legend, you're going to have Pikachu Libre, which does have the potential to be shiny, but it's extremely rare. And again, Axew could also be shiny, and Noibat can also be shiny as well. Gumi unfortunately can't be shiny yet, but I'm hoping that comes out soon. Anyways, though, these are just the guaranteed rank up encounters. You're only going to get access to these one time after you hit that respective rank. But now let's talk about the overall standard encounters. Okay, So for rank 1, you're going to have access to Poliwag, Meditite, Speel, Wingull, and Swablu, all pretty relevant Pokemon in the Great League once they do evolve into their respective evolutions. Then we have Skarmory, Frillish, and Mienfoo at rank 6. And then once you make it to rank 11, you're going to get access to Onix, Lickitung, Dratini, Swinub, and Mareanie. All those Pokemon are pretty meta-relevant, and I feel like Swinub was the one that got buffed the most in terms of potential moves for Piloswine and Mamoswine. At rank 16, you're going to get access to Meltank, Hisuian Sneasel, which is actually, I think that was an egg Pokemon before, so I'm assuming that's going to be relevant for the Great League. This thing was super meta-relevant, but you had to do like some weird second account trick to actually get access to one below 1500. Yeah, it was kind of messy. But anyways, that's going to be available, and then we're going to have Scraggy as well. And then at rank 20, you're going to get access to Legendary Encounters, but I'm just going to say this right now. They nerfed the rates to the ground this past season. Like, it was probably like a 0.0001% to get a legendary encounter. It was terrible. So don't go in expecting to get these anymore. Niantic has completely nerfed them. And then additionally, once you make it past Ace, Veteran, and Expert rank, you get access to these Pokemon respectively. So pretty much the same as the guaranteed rank up encounters. The only difference is that Pikachu Libre is pretty much a one-time thing. Next up, let's talk about the timed research pass. So this was a relatively new update to GBL a few seasons ago. They've more or less kind of formatted it a little bit better now, so now you get it in research pages. Now when it comes down to the timed research pass, I also want to mention that you have to claim this in the shop. It's not going to appear automatically in your research, so make sure to do that before you even start battling, because those wins are not going to count until you actually claim that pass. So in total, you need to do 500 wins, which I get it, that's a lot, but it's totally doable, especially if you just tank down and you battle people that are really easy to beat, and I'm sure they're doing the exact same thing, so just depends on how you look at it. If you're pushing for Legendary entire time, it's going to be really stressful, but if you just tank and, you know, really take advantage of the rewards, you're probably going to be okay, and you're probably going to be able to hit this pretty fast. I don't really advocate against this sort of thing anymore in terms of tanking, because GBL is just a complete mess. So if you want to tank down and just take advantage of all the win rewards, whether that be the encounters, the Stardust, getting the Elite Fast TM at 400 wins, or the Elite Charge TM at 500 wins, basically completing page 4 or page 5, then by all means, go for it. I personally just only did up to 500 wins this season, and I pretty much just stopped after that. I don't really feel like pushing for Legend as much anymore. It's just not really worth my time personally. And GBL is so bad, like it's so freaking bad, guys, that it just stresses me out. So, I mean, that's just my take on it. I'm sure many of you probably agree, but we're gonna move on from here. Now let's talk about the trainer pose. So Steven Stone was actually one of the trainer poses, I believe during season 2 or season 3. I'm gonna say season 2 though, if I'm thinking correctly. Now, the difference this time is that it's actually an animated pose. So if you actually got the pose beforehand, I don't know if they're gonna change it to an animated pose. I'm gonna assume yeah, but I mean, don't quote me on that. Either way though, if this is new to you and maybe you're just picking up the game right now, at Ace rank, you're gonna get access to Steven Stone's rings. At Veteran rank, you're gonna get access to his shoes. At Expert rank, you're gonna get access to his full outfit, basically the top and the pants. And then at Legend rank, you're gonna get access to his pose, which again is animated this time around. And personally, it's one of my favorite poses. I think Steven Stone is a really cool character in the actual Pokemon anime, so I would love to get this, but I also don't really want to push for Legend because that's so stressful. But at the end of the day, if this really motivates you guys, then do what you have to do. So we just talked about the timed research pass and how you can get an Elite Fast TM at 400 wins and then an Elite Charge TM at 500 wins respectively. Well, you can also get an Elite Charge TM once you make it to rank 19, and an Elite Fast TM as an end of season reward as well, just for making it to rank 19. So at the very least, guys, I mean, I always advocate to at least push for rank 20, that way you can take advantage of the Stardust gains, even if you don't want to battle. But at the end of the day, totally up to you, although I would seriously recommend doing this. So personally, I am very happy to see that there are a lot of opportunities to get free Elite Charge TMs and Fast TMs during the overall season. You know, even the timed research pass, I feel like that's kind of a big ask overall, but you also have the Go Battle days, and then you also have just getting to rank 20 entirely. So those are pretty much going to be my top 2 recommendations. And then if you really just want to get the extra, free Elite TMs, you can do the timed research pass as well for the 400 and 500 wins respectively. But again, totally up to you. Now let's go and take a look at the overall cups for this season. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this, as it's pretty straightforward for the most part. And I can't imagine many of you guys are even going to be playing these special cups. You're probably just going to be playing the open leagues, but I could be wrong about that. So the Great League Remix, this is basically the top most used Pokemon from the Ace rank and above will not be allowed. So let's take a look at this. We got Venusaur, Nidoqueen, Alolan Ninetales, Lickitung, Lantern, Azumarill, Umbreon, Skarmory, Swampert, Sableye, Medicham, Altaria, Walrein, Registeel, Defense Deoxys, Bastiodon, Scrafty, Galarian Stunfisk, Talonflame, Trevenant. I don't know, that seems like it checks out to me. Ultra Premier Cup, we already went over this earlier, Ultra Premier Classic. So basically Ultra Premier Cup means that you can't use Legendary Pokemon, Mythical Pokemon, Ultra Beast, etc. But you can use level 50 Pokemon. Ultra Premier Classic is essentially the same thing, except you can only use level 40 Pokemon max. That's the key difference there. Master League, there's no limit. Master League Classic, it's basically the same thing as Ultra Premier Classic. Master League Mega Edition, it's the same thing as Master League. There's no limit, and you pretty much have to use level 50 Pokemon, but you can also use Mega Pokemon, so, I mean, that's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't know how I really feel about that. And at the end of the day, guys, it's like the last cup of the entire season, so it's more or less just going to be for fun. Taking a look at the Fighting Cup, let's just take a look at the bans right now. So you're not going to be able to use Hakamo, Komao, Buzzwole, and Sneasler? Okay, Sneasler. I don't know why I feel like I knew this already, but just hearing that name is really funny. Buzzwole is really OP, so I'm glad they banned that. Holiday Cup, Great League Edition, you can only use normal, grass, electric, ice, flying, and ghost type Pokemon. Holiday Cup, same thing for Ultra League. For Weather Cup, you can only use fire, water, ice, and rock type Pokemon. I feel like we've had Weather Cup in the past and it was pretty good, so I'm looking forward to that. Electric Cup, these Pokemon are not going to be allowed. Stunfisk and Charjabug. Okay, I mean, Stunfisk is, alright, fair enough. Mudshot would be kind of OP in this league, I can totally see that. Love Cup, Great League Edition, basically just red-colored or pink-colored Pokemon. There's a huge list for that. I would not worry about that too much. And then Hoenn Cup, Great League Edition, basically any Pokemon in the Hoenn region. Alright, now let's take a look at the attack changes and attack availability updates. Personally, I always love taking a look at this because this is really how the meta changes, and if you can take advantage of this, this could be how you push for Legend. I've seen it so many times in the past, so definitely if you want to push for Legend, this is going to be a key thing to pay attention to. So Wing Attack is going to have energy generation increased, which is pretty cool. Now the downside here is that the first Pokemon that I think of is going to be Pidgeot, but Wing Attack is a legacy fast move, which means you have to use an Elite Fast TM to get Wing Attack on your Pidgeot. Also, Gust is a legacy fast move. Like, they're both good moves for Pidgeot, but I'm gonna have to imagine Wing Attack's gonna be a little bit better. Now, unfortunately for me, I did actually use an Elite Fast TM on Gust for 2 of my Pidgeots, so to use a third one to get Wing Attack, I don't know how that makes me feel. I can't really name off every single Pokemon that's going to benefit from this Wing Attack update, but I will say that it is quite big, and the meta is going to shift quite a lot because of it. That's a fact. Poison Fang, so the energy cost has been increased. Really happy to see this. This means specifically Nidoqueen and Golbat are going to be nerfed, and I believe Crobat also has access to Poison Fang. Those are the 3 that come to mind anyways. So that's nice to see, because Nidoqueen was on a rampage. It was so freaking OP. It was such a common Pokemon to see. Hopefully we're going to see a little bit less of that right now. And I mean, Poison Fang, it definitely needed an update earlier on. I'm glad it got it, but I'm also happy to see that it did get a little bit nerfed going into this season. Now, this last one is a bit controversial. I can't say that I'm too happy about it, and that's Charm getting slightly nerfed from 16 power to 15 power. This is kind of similar to how Razor Leaf got nerfed. Like, yes, it is a nerf, but it's also not a huge nerf. Like, it's still gonna be pretty OP. It's just 15 power now instead, which, I mean, I get it. Like, that does make a difference in the long run. But at the end of the day, guys, you could still run your Charm users. This isn't going to change that much. Personally, I still run Shadow Victory Belt even though Razor Leaf got nerfed, and it's still extremely effective. Next up, let's talk about the attack availability updates. So Litleo getting access to Incinerate. This is good. Like, Litleo is one of those Pokemon that you can actually build level 50 for the Great League. Happy to see it gets Incinerate, because it also has access to Flame Charge. So Incinerate plus Flame Charge, that's exciting, and I personally do have a rank 1 that I caught like a year or 2 ago that I've been waiting to power up. Like, I actually have the extra large candy. I might actually do it now, so that's definitely exciting on a personal level. Also, Pyroar got access to Incinerate as well. I feel like the biggest one is Litleo though, in my opinion. It could be good for Pyroar as well, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Sudowoodo got access to Meteor Beam. I don't know how good that's going to make Sudowoodo, but that's interesting to see. Aggron getting access to Meteor Beam, it doesn't do much for it, I believe, in PvP, but it does more for it in the Raid/Gym meta. So, you know, Aggron has been this Pokemon that we've all said, don't use your Aggrons for raids, but Aggron has been getting like buffs every single season, and now it's actually like a decent rock-type attacker to use. You can't really hit on Aggron anymore, like especially Mega Aggron, it's actually decently viable. Keyword is decent, because you definitely have better options out there, but it is nice to see Aggron getting a little bit of love here. Tyrantrum, okay, so this is also going to get access access to Meteor Beam, and actually I believe this pushes us up a lot in the raid/gym meta, so that is cool to see. We'll probably do a separate video going over some of these additions. Aurora is also getting access to Meteor Beam. I feel like it does more for Tyrantrum than it does for Aurorus, but I've also heard that Aurorus is going to be really good in the overall meta now this season, just due to recent changes and whatnot. Dusclops getting access to Poltergeist, that's actually pretty good. So Dusknoir is actually the worst option compared to Dusclops, because Dusclops can just take advantage of being a higher level in the Great League, and Poltergeist does change the game a little bit. Kind of nice to see. Golurk getting access to Poltergeist, haven't really spent too much time looking at this Pokemon, so I don't know how good it's going to be. Same thing with Gourgeist. Galarian Rapidash getting access to high horsepower. So Galarian Rapidash was already really good, like as a Pokemon. I just recently built one this past season. Loved using it. I don't know how much better high horsepower is going to make it. It already has access to Mega Horn, Body Slam. I'm trying to think what the other move was. I think it's Psychic and also Moonblast. So yeah, it has like a really good move pool already, and high horsepower just, giving it more coverage. So that's great to see for Galarian Rapidash. It's definitely going to bump it up for sure. Piloswine and Mamoswine both getting access to high horsepower. I don't know how much this really helps it out in terms of Piloswine, but Mamoswine, in terms of the ground type meta, this is a game changer for it, because previously it had access to Bulldoze. It never had access to Earth Power, so Earth Power is better than High Horsepower, but High Horsepower is better than Bulldoze. So Mamoswine for the raid/gym meta, we'll have to take a look at that. Galarian Weezing getting access to Brutal Swing. Okay, so Galarian Weezing is a Fairy-type Pokemon, but getting access to Brutal Swing gives it some nice coverage. That's cool to see. And Ampharos getting access to Brutal Swing as well. So that's pretty random, but I kind of like it. So definitely a cool buff for Ampharos right there. And that pretty much covers it in terms of the move updates overall. We're going to spend some more time talking about some of these Pokemon in the raid/gym meta in a separate video, because I don't want to just lump everything together in this one. It's already pretty long. Now with that being said, that's pretty much going to cover everything in terms of the Season 13 updates. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Is there anything you're looking forward to building now? Is there anything you're sad about getting nerfed? I mean, rip to Nidoqueen, right? Or maybe even some Charm users? Let me know your thoughts down below. But now I'd like to go over some tips and tricks for Season 13 from a 3x Legend, although that's starting to kind of wear down because I hit Legend in Season 9 the last time, and it's been a while since then. To be honest, I haven't really been pushing for Legend anymore. I just don't really feel like it's worth the time investment, but I still know that there are some people out there who really want to hit Legend for the first time, and even for those of you who don't really care that much about hitting Legend, I still got some tips for you as well. So, it really just depends on what you want out of this season. I feel like, if you know that you're going to push for Legend, know that it is going to be a lot of work. Each season gets more difficult to reach this milestone, as there are better players now than there were in the previous season. And seriously guys, it is very, very competitive. So personally, my best recommendation is to find a few Twitch streamers to watch every single day. Not every single one of them is going to stream every day, but there are some that'll stream pretty often throughout the week. Get used to their schedules and watch them every single day as they battle through all these various league rotations. Battling in real time is honestly no joke, and many top streamers really showcase this entire process very well towards hitting Legend, and they also show the struggles of not being able to hit it as well. Personally, I do like watching Speediest Chief, Soft Toff, and there's a few others as well. But, find whichever Twitch streamers you like the most. There's plenty of them out there who play this game. In addition to that, I also do recommend watching PvP YouTubers for new Pokemon and team features, as they tend to go through what's most relevant. So Home Slice Henry is actually one of the ones I really like to watch personally on YouTube. He really has a great commentary style, so again, that's just my personal preference. There's plenty of other PvP YouTubers out there. This is a tip for those of you guys who don't really care that much about Legend and are just focused mainly on the resources. My best recommendation here, and this is pretty much what I do now because I don't care about Legend as much, is just get to rank 20 as soon as possible. And after that, just for completing a set with 0 wins, you don't even have to get a single win, you're going to get 3,100 Stardust. Now if you win 1 battle, then you get 4,000 Stardust. So yeah, it's kind of nice, right? It's pretty easy to actually get Stardust this way. And I get this comment all the time, Lucky, how do you have so much Stardust? How do you power up all these Pokemon to level 50? Well, a lot of it comes from GBL, believe it or not. You can get 15 to 20,000 Stardust a day with minimal effort. This is especially true for Go Battle Days because you get 4 times Stardust on those win rewards, and if you drop a star piece, just win once, tank the other 4 battles, and just keep going through that as many times as you can during that 30-minute time period. You can accumulate so much Stardust, guys. Seriously, it is so worth it. Personally, this season I didn't do as much Stardust as I would have liked to, but that's also because I've been relatively busy. I've been putting out more content, so hopefully you guys do appreciate that. But that's just my recommendation for all of you guys out there who really don't care that much about hitting Legend, or even if you don't care about PvP that much in general, just, you know, do as many battles as you can, pushing towards rank 20. Ideally, you want to hit rank 20 before January 14th, which is the first Go Battle Day. That way you can take advantage of all those Stardust gains. Now, the final tip I have for all of you guys is that this is going to be a marathon no matter what you're pushing for, whether that's rank 20 or whether that's Legend rank, it doesn't really matter. Please just go at your own pace. You don't have to do all 25 battles every single day. It's seriously not required. You can definitely get to rank 20 running a few battles, maybe like 10 to 15 a day, maybe even less, over the course of 6 weeks. And then if you want to push for Legend, same thing as well. There are plenty of people out there who hit Legend in like under 600, 700 battles in total, so it's very much possible, although I guess those people are probably, you know, the top battlers, so I don't know if they're a great comparison, but just know that you don't have to burn yourself out doing all 25 battles a day. It takes a lot of time, and many of us don't have that time to give. So if that's something you want to do, go for it. I do encourage it, but if you just want to get to rank 20 and tank and get a bunch of Stardust and encounter rewards, then I also encourage that too. As always though, I would love to hear your goals for this season in the comment section down below, and if you do want some more general tips and tricks, check out these videos right here. But before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.